Hi everyone. Today we'll have a small review on transmission lines. Then we'll proceed with how these transmission lines can be used as circuit elements at very high frequency. Let's start with the definition of a transmission line. Generally, a transmission line basically consists of two or more parallel conductors which are used to connect a source to the load. And we have seen different types of transmission lines. Those are coaxial cables, a two-wire transmission line, parallel plate or parallel line. Next one is a wire above the conducting plane and a microstrip line. Anyway, whatever the transmission line that you are going to take, generally this transmission line parameters are R, L, G and C. All these parameters are represented in terms of ohms per meter, Henry per meter, Siemens per meter and farads per meter respectively. Anyway, these four parameters we call them as primary constants because all these four parameters are dependent on physical structure of the transmission line. Then we have seen the transmission line equations. There we try to find out how a voltage wave and current wave propagates in a transmission line. V S of Z is equal to VO plus e power minus gamma Z plus VO minus e power gamma Z. Similarly, Is of Z is equal to Io plus e power minus gamma Z plus Io minus e power plus gamma Z, where V plus and I plus represents the voltage and current which are moving in positive Z direction, similarly VO minus and IO minus represents the voltages and currents which are moving in negative Z direction. And these voltages and currents are also dependent on time factor. Therefore, the instantaneous voltage is expressed as V of Z comma t is equal to VO plus e power minus alpha Z into cos of omega t minus beta Z plus VO minus e power alpha Z cos of omega t minus beta Z. In this expression, this first term represents the voltage wave traveling in positive Z direction, whereas the second term represents voltage wave traveling in negative Z direction. Similarly, you can write the equation for current wave also. Next, we discussed about the characteristic impedance. We represented this characteristic impedance with ZO and we derived the equation also, that is ZO equal to root over R plus J omega L by G plus J omega C, which is a complex quantity. Since it is a complex quantity, we represent this one as RO plus J into XO, where this RO is the real part and this XO is imaginary part. Anyway, this real part indicates the resistance offered by the transmission line. This imaginary part indicates reactance offered by the transmission line. The values of R, L, G, C are per unit length, whereas the value of RO and XO is taken for the complete length of the transmission line. The another parameter that we have seen in this process is the gamma, which is equal to root over R plus j omega L multiplied with G plus j omega C. So, this is propagation constant. Then we discussed about the cases of a lossless transmission line and a distortionless transmission line. A lossless transmission line is one in which the attenuation constant of the transmission line is 0, whereas in a distortionless transmission line is defined as whose attenuation constant is independent of frequency and the phase constant is linearly dependent on the frequency of operation. So, let us talk about distortionless transmission line. In a distortionless transmission line, R by L is equal to G by C, which implies the value of alpha will comes as root over Rg, which is completely independent of frequency of operation, whereas the value of beta, the phase constant, is equal to omega into root Lc. Here beta is linearly dependent on frequency of operation. Then we have seen the input impedance of the transmission line, and we derived this equation also. We call it as Zin, or else you can represent this one as Z of L, whereas Zin is represented as, if you are seeing this input impedance from the source point of view, whereas Z of L means the impedance of the transmission line is taken at a distance of L from the load, and the formula for Zin or Z of L is equal to ZO multiplied with ZL cos H gamma L plus ZO sin H gamma L by ZL sin H gamma L plus ZO cos H gamma L. You can express in another way also, that is ZO into ZL plus ZO tan H gamma L by ZO plus ZL tan H gamma L. For a lossless transmission line, Z of L is equal to ZO into ZL plus J times ZO tan beta L by ZO plus J times ZL tan beta L. After this, we try to define voltage reflection coefficient. Represented as gamma L, and we derived the voltage reflection coefficient at load end is equal to ZL minus ZO by ZL plus ZO. Then we define voltage standing wave ratio. If it is standing wave ratio, we represent it as S, whereas since we are talking about voltage standing wave ratio, we generally represent this value with rho. Therefore, the voltage standing wave ratio rho equal to V max by V minimum, that is equal to 1 plus mod gamma L by 1 minus mod gamma L. This term we represent it with VSWR also. Then we discussed about two more parameters. One is phase velocity, the other is group velocity. The phase velocity is the velocity at which a wave of single frequency propagates along a line, whereas a group velocity is the velocity at which the envelope of complex wave propagates along a line. It is the ratio of change in angular velocity to the change in phase constant of the wave. In a simple way, the phase velocity is represented with V suffix p, that is equal to omega by beta, and this is calculated for a single frequency only. Whereas in the same transmission line, if multiple frequencies are traveling, then we calculate the group velocity represented with Vg, that is equal to change in angular velocity to the change in phase constant. And we even derived the relation between these two, which is the phase velocity in a transmission line is equal to group velocity into 1 minus beta times of dVp by d omega. Let us say if the velocity of wave which is propagating is independent of frequency, then this part dVp by d omega value will go to 0. Vp is equal to Vg. That means if the wave propagating in the transmission line is independent of frequency, then the phase velocity and group velocity are same. Later on, we have seen some special cases on transmission line, especially for a lossless transmission line. Here, our question is, what happens if a lossless transmission line is terminated with a short circuited connection? So, let us take the first case, that is shorted line, which means the load end of the transmission line is short circuited, that implies ZL equal to 0. If you substitute this ZL equal to 0 in the input impedance formula, then we call this impedance as ZSE, since the load terminal is short circuited. That means short circuit impedance is equal to ZO into tan gamma L. Since it is a lossless transmission line, alpha equal to 0, that is equal to ZO into tan J beta L. Therefore, the short circuited impedance is equal to J into ZO into tan beta L. Let us see what happens to the reflection coefficient if you terminate the transmission line with a short circuit connection. We know the formula of reflection coefficient, that is gamma L is equal to ZL minus ZO by ZL plus ZO. Upon substituting the value of ZL, which is equal to 0 in this case, 0 minus ZO by 0 plus ZO, which implies the reflection coefficient value at load end is equal to -1. Upon substituting this reflection coefficient value in voltage standing wave ratio, rho equal to 1 plus mod gamma L by 1 minus mod gamma L, which equal to 1 plus 1 by 1 minus 1, that implies voltage standing wave ratio is equal to 1 by 0, that is infinity. That means if you terminate a transmission line with a short circuit connection, the reflection coefficient or mod gamma L equal to 1, which implies the total voltage is reflected back. That means no power delivers to the load. If you try to draw a graph for short circuit impedance ZSC equal to J into ZO tan beta L, then as the value of beta L increases from 0 to pi by 2, its value is positive, whereas from pi by 2 to pi, the ZSC value will become negative. That means the same transmission line will act as a capacitor. From pi to 3 pi by 2, again it acts as an inductor. From 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi, it acts as a capacitor. Let us see what happens if the transmission line is terminated with an open circuited connection. In an open circuited connection, ZL value is equal to infinity. Therefore, impedance of the transmission line when ZL equal to infinity equal to, which is nothing but open circuit impedance ZOC equal to ZO into ZL plus J into ZO tan beta L by ZO J ZL tan beta L, that equals to ZO into 1 plus J ZO by ZL tan beta L by ZO by ZL plus J times tan beta L. Since ZL equal to infinity, 1 by infinity will become 0. That means this part will become 0. Similarly, this part will become 0. 1 plus 0 by 0 plus J tan beta L, that is equal to ZO by J tan beta L, that is equal to minus J into ZO into cot beta L. Therefore, ZOC equal to minus J ZO cot beta L. This is the expression for impedance of the transmission line when it is terminated with an open circuit connection. If you observe the graph for this, if you try to substitute the values of beta L here, then ZOC equal to minus J into ZO into cot beta L will comes as this graph. That means from 0 to 2 pi, the transmission line acts as a capacitor. From 0 to pi by 2, it acts as a capacitor. From pi by 2 to pi, it acts as an inductor. Again from pi to 3 pi by 2, it acts as a capacitor. From 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi, it acts as this graph clearly says that from 0 to 2 pi, this graph clearly says that from 0 to pi by 2, the transmission line acts as a capacitive network. From pi by 2 to pi, again it acts as an inductive network. Pi to 3 pi by 2, again it acts as a capacitor. From 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi, it acts as an inductor. Let us observe what happens to the reflection coefficient gamma L in this case. The reflection coefficient gamma L is equal to ZL minus ZO by ZL plus ZO. If you take ZL as common in both numerator and as well as in denominator, ZL into 1 minus ZO by ZL by ZL into 1 plus ZO by ZL. Anyway, ZO by ZL value is equal to 0. ZL by ZL 1 minus 0 by 1 plus 0 will become 1. Therefore, gamma L equal to 1, that implies mod gamma L equal to 1, which implies the total voltage is reflected back. If you substitute the value of gamma L in voltage standing wave ratio, then 1 plus mod gamma L by 1 minus mod gamma L, which will become 1 plus 1 by 1 minus 1, that is equal to 1 by 0 equal to infinity. That implies the rho voltage standing wave ratio is equal to infinity. That means even though if you terminate the transmission line with an open circuit connection, or if you terminate a transmission line with short circuit connection, the total energy is reflected back. Let us take a third case, which is a pure reactance case. That means what happens to the transmission line if you terminate with a pure reactance. So therefore, in this case ZL value is equal to some J into X, which may be an inductance value or a capacitance value. Our reflection coefficient gamma L is equal to ZL minus ZO by ZL plus ZO, that equal to ZL value is equal to J into X minus ZO by J into X plus ZO. If you try to write the magnitude of gamma L, then its value is equal to 1 in this case, which implies the voltage reflection coefficient rho equal to infinity. Even in this case, that means if the transmission line is terminated with a pure reactance, then the total voltage is reflected back. Let us talk about the fourth case, that is matched line. A transmission line is said to be matched line when the transmission line is terminated with a characteristic impedance of the transmission line, that is ZL value and ZO value are same. In such a case, the reflection coefficient gamma L is equal to ZL minus ZO by ZL plus ZO. Since ZL value and ZO value are same, its value will become 0. That implies the reflection coefficient at low terminal is equal to 0. And the corresponding voltage standing wave ratio is given by rho equal to 1. So, by using these last two expressions, that means rho L equal to 0, which indirectly says that no energy is reflected back towards the generator. As a result, the total energy that you are going to provide to a transmission line is transferred from transmission line to the load. In practice, generally we always use matched line configuration, because in a matched line configuration there is no reflected power, especially for a case of lossless transmission line.
Thank you.